Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Bhandary and today I've got my student Ananya P from the final year AIML, Computer Science branch. First batch of AIML coming out of Sahyadri. And the good thing is that she's got selected in Deloitte, and so we'll ask her about the whole process. But I also want to tell you that she's been a Google
Developer Student Club.
Yes, thank you. So will you please tell what is it and how has it helped you?
Yes. So when I was in my second year, I got selected. I applied for GDSE lead. It's like a community from Google itself. It's like a community where all developers come together, they collaborate. It's like open sourcing community. So you learn a lot. You have to, every year there is selection from each colleges. So I applied for it and I got selected, and after that there were a lot of programs like all Google technologies. We had months for it where we can learn that and teach others also. That way we had such a huge community. Other colleges leads were also there, and we all had the small groups where we practiced what and all we are learning, and through that group I actually came to know the standards of placement in their institutions and all. So that way I could prepare well. I could be like, okay, this is their standard, I should match up to it. So I had this idea. So I feel that being in some community, being in some clusters of students and learning together makes you feel more attentive towards details. Like, okay, she's doing that, okay, even I'm doing this, I can match up to that. Where should I improve, comparing to yourself to others. So that way you can improve a lot. So I encourage community learning a lot. So you can join our Sahyadri GDSE lead chapter also. There are many other clubs also. Mozilla is there, then there is GitHub Campus Expert, there are SOS is there. I was also a part of SOS. So this way you can join communities and learn together. That helps a lot.
Great, because one of the feedbacks that I got from for Ananya from Deloitte was that she's a part of this community, and if more students can be a part of it, there's so much more learning. And let me tell you, she was way ahead than her peers for this interview. So anyone can do this. So you started right from the second year, right?
Yes.
So great. So great, Ananya. And if you see, her communication is also pretty clear because she's organizing so many competitions and participating in so many other stuff. So naturally, you get you improve in all fronts. So coming to Deloitte, what was the eligibility?
Eligible was like all branches were allowed, and the CGPA was 6.5, but there shouldn't be any active backlogs. So like that, many people had written the test. First test is actually a coding assessment. In the coding assessment, there was two sections. One is the medium section and one is the hard section. Both had two questions. So to answer this test, like online test, what you have to prepare is that you have to code. For example, there are websites like Lead Code, HackerRank and all. You start every day for like 2-3 problems you go and do, and that is more than enough. You spend like 2 hours on programming every day, that is enough. And please build on your logic rather than understanding the syntax. Learning a language for a whole 2 months is not enough. You should understand logic and build on that. Syntax comes automatically, it is just a language, but logic is what they judge a lot. Even in my interview, for me the interviewer already said that I am going to assess you on these things. That is, one is logic building, then problem approach and how you tackle it. So I said okay, and he started asking questions like that only. Everything, there was nothing theoretical asked for me. Everything was how am I approaching this problem.
Okay. So I just want to ask you a percentage. How much was it? Because they said 6.5 CGPA.
Yeah. Mine was 8.74 at this time because my seniors had told me that if you get 8.5 or above, it's enough, because you can attempt for all companies. Being eligible for all companies is better. I didn't have to check every mail again and again, am I eligible, am I eligible. I didn't have to worry about that because I knew somehow I am eligible for all of them. So that made it easier. So I say maintain above 8.5 for everything.
Yeah, so naturally in your first year, please aim for at least 10, you land up somewhere in 9, and so that at least in the second and third year, somewhere decent around 8, 8.5 is mandatory. I'm telling you students, it's mandatory because see, as the years go, there's so many students who are coming and there's so much of competition around the world. So the one thing that they can do to eliminate students is to increase the cutoff. Even if they say 6.5 or whatever, I'm sure that all the students who got selected were having a score greater than at least 8, or nearing 8. And some of you like 8.5, so good. So what was the next? I mean, can you briefly tell a little bit about the coding? If someone wants to, I mean, what sort of questions were coming?
The questions were basically first, it was medium and hard for us. So if you see lead code sections, even medium and hard questions, those types only. In the medium section, there were two questions. One was on arrays, the other one was on trees. And in hard, it was both were on. One was on graph and trees, like that. So what is the thing is that for this, when they say level like medium and hard, please prepare on complex data structures like trees, graphs, non-linear ones. So that way, when you prepare for those, understand the logic and prepare, you will do well in these rounds.
Okay, and how long was this? How many minutes roughly?
2 hours. Altogether it was 2 hours. Each section 1 hour.
Alright. And what was the next round?
After that, we had interview round. It was like first.
By the way, when people were, I remember in the labs when the test was going on, people were not even able to, they're not reading the instructions or something, and there was only a 10-minute slot for them to start, and many could not actually start. So I'm actually surprised, and the reason being is because they don't practice, a lot of all these, any of it. So suddenly when you sit in front of the comp and then the instructions come, maybe they don't read all the instructions. So please start doing some of it earlier on. Attend competitions, attend those interviews and or whatever. So that you know how to do it. And then press that submit button at the end.
Yes.
They miss out on that. The small things which is so simple if you do all these competitive coding and maybe do a few online tests. Yeah.
So the interview round was, first interview round was there, and if you get selected in that, you go for the second interview round. So in the first interview round, when I went, the interviewer clearly said me that I'm going to assess you on problem approach, like tackling the problems, how do you think, your logical build, everything. So some of the questions he asked me were like, he has a everything was completely like approach, there is no theoretical. These things we have learnt in college, like I was asked mostly on OOPS. OOPS is like a subject in college, but when we think like this, we don't remember because we only study for exams. That is completely wrong. So when he asked me things like, I have a manufacturing unit and this is a bottle I manufacture. Please can you tell me regarding OOPS, what is this? Can you explain me this situation regarding OOPS? So when we think about it in college, it was never asked because that is theoretical part. But when we completely understand the concepts and do, we can clearly answer this very easily.
You could answer?
Yeah.
So what is the answer?
So answer is that the class is the manufacturing unit, the bottle is like the object, and its attributes are the different sizes of bottle it gets manufactured, and its behavioral functions are how the bottle behaves, how much water can fit in it, how does the bottle behave in different situations. So that way it is.
Okay. So any other questions?
Other questions he asked me a bit about OS, things like what is paging, what is segmentation and everything. These things are theoretical, but whenever you are answering in an interview, you shouldn't show them that you are like a bookworm or you have only studied for exam. That they do not like at all. So I answered in such a way like I explained them. I didn't use correct words that were mentioned in the textbook. Even I do not like to read it that way. I understand and I read them. So I explained it way that I understood it. This is the thing. I drew sometimes when I am explaining. That time they understand. I clearly know the subject. And they ask me questions like, well, I'm answering the interview, some topics they pick from that and they ask me, which algorithm do you think is there? I said LRU. So then they were like, where do you think in Amazon website LRU is used, cache is used, like that they started asking me. That time you will have to remember how cache works. So when how cache works, then you can relate, oh in Amazon website, where do you think cache can fit in? So that way I can think. They give you time, they give you like a minute or something to think. But when you are explaining them your thought process, they are impressed by it. They think, okay, you know in depth, you know how to apply things. They want people who learn theoretically but know to apply things in the real world. So this way they ask my approach towards it.
Alright. And then what other? That's it? Those questions?
Yeah, and then a bit about DBMS they asked. Then network, they were about to ask me, but I'm an AML student. So in our AML subject there was no network, but then it was okay. Then they asked me about NLP a lot. Like I had done a project on NLP. Please do not put in your resume, please do not put projects or anything that you do not are well versed with. Please put only things that you are well versed with because they are going to question you about it very deeply. So please learn about the tech stack of the projects you have put in there. And after that I got selected for the second interview. The second interview was like a stress interview, like they were like misleading me. when they were asking me questions, I was answering them. They were like, "Are you sure about it? Do you think it is right?" And they were cross questioning me so to mislead me. But then they try to pressurize you to so that you answer wrong. Okay, they too much it was like both were talking to each other and cross questioning me. So I was like, should I concentrate on the conversation? Should I concentrate on questions they are asking? But then I remained calm and I thought and I answered it well.
Alright.
So they were like, okay, fine. Then again, they started misleading me again, and whenever I answer, they made things like, I don't think that's the right answer. Even though I believe mine was the right answer, they made me think, am I right? So I feel when you're firm on something you have learned, be firm on it. Just say, yeah, I think this is what I have learned. So when I said that, they were like, okay. Then they moved on.
And it's also to see whether you really know it or not.
Yeah.
See, when you say something and someone says, no, it's not there. If you're sure, you say, yes, this is it. For example, my name is Rashmi and there's no, is it Rashmi or Lakshmi? I'm sure it's Rashmi. So just seeing whether you're really confident about what you're saying. So it's actually not misleading. We feel it's misleading.
Yeah.
So if you know for sure, then you say, yes, this is. For example, which is your college?
Sahyadri.
Do you think it is XYZ?
No.
No, see that's it. Even if I say, she says no, right? She'll say no. So that's what. So now do you understand when you write something on your resume, be thorough with everything that you have put in there, and they're not going to ask just normal questions. See, the package is pretty high, 8.10 LPA. So naturally, when you're going to get that sort of salary, you better be knowing what your stuff, at least the stuff that you've put on the resume. They're not expecting you to know the whole of 4 years. At least that one sheet of paper that you have put whatever. This is what I know. This is my project. This is my blah blah. So that you should be very sure of, and of course your fundamentals. So if you're sure of that and this thing, and let me tell you, Deloitte is a very nice company to work with, and they have very good increments, and it's a great place to learn. Good technology and all that. And the people that came, I just can't tell you how fabulous they were. Just to be with them, I think would be so pleasant. And the PPT itself, let me tell you, one of the very unique PPTs that they had, they didn't have any slides, they were just having a discussion. And students were asking questions. Did you ask any questions?
Yeah, I asked.
Very good. So that's one more thing. Please ask questions during the pre-placement talk. Alright, anything else?
Then they asked me things like that, and they asked a question which I didn't know. Like they were asking me about NLP because I did a project and they kind of liked it. So they were asking me deep on the tech stack. So when they asked me that question, they wanted to check. It was a very just Gen AI stuff, which was not there even in college, or I probably had to read some tech articles to know about it. I read articles, but then at that time I did not read about that one term. So when they asked me about it, they wanted to see if I'll bluff about it because I know everything about NLP, the basic and all. So but then I said no, I don't think so. She was like, yeah, it's okay if you don't know, just think about it and say. I said no ma'am, I don't think I can know. I just know the foundation of NLP very well. So she said okay, fine. They don't want you to bluff. If they will catch your bluff, you might think they don't know NLP, it's a new technology, or AI students especially. Machine learning they don't know, but they literally work on it and they'll catch your bluff like this, so please do not bluff.
Yeah, and that's for every company. They're experts. Okay, they're here to take the best. So naturally, if you're bluffing, they come to know. Okay, and anything else? That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they.
So anything for the juniors? See, my videos. People think my videos are for the final year students. It's not. Final year, it's very late. So you should be doing right in the first year, second year, third year. Okay, all this preparation, so that when you come to the final year, you're actually very confident and you can get the best package and crack the best company. So any tips which the first year, second year students could do?
Yeah, so when I was in first year, second year, I didn't know what to do. There are so many things, everyone is saying one thing or the other. So but first thing I would recommend, in my opinion, the best path is that first is join communities. Join communities that help you, because when we are alone and we try to do some programming or we try to study, it does not happen much. We will be like, no one is there here to judge, no one is there here to compare, and we'll let it go. But when you are in clusters of groups, you have this healthy competitive environment where you will strive to be best. So that way, be in communities, you will understand how others are working, you will have this collaborative environment. And another thing is code daily for 2 hours or something. Understand, please do not concentrate on the syntax rather than concentrate on the logic build. And another thing is that don't think that only this much is important. Study everything conceptually rather than theoretically. Conceptually is the goal.
Thank you very much, Ananya. I'm wishing you the very best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. And it's bye from both of us.